Why isn't anyone on YouTube powerscaling any of Mori Jin's newer forms? Sigh. I guess I'll have to do this myself. P.S. Subscribe if you like God of Highschool. Okay, let's start from where we left off in my previous video on Mori Jin's power level. We left off when Mori first awakened some of his Monkey King memories. He was around Island Plus level, able to destroy 2 islands and a city simultaneously with a hypothetical speed of around 500 miles per hour and a staff extension and expansion speed of 207,559 miles per hour and an unknown durability level, since he was half dead while he was doing all those. For the sake of the flow of this video, I'm giving him multi-city level durability. We'll go up from there. Don't worry, this makes perfect sense since he was able to resist a city level lightning assault from the fake Monkey King, although the second lightning assault was enough to allow the fake Monkey King to capture him. So that's as far as he'll go for going durability for now at least. That refresher was necessary since he semi-mastered his incomplete Monkey King mode, making it practically indistinguishable from his base mode, but only for a short time. Of course, it wasn't as strong as he was against Type Jigal since he hasn't yet fully mastered it, plus he was suppressed in order to limit destruction, but I gauge him as small city level, since even though it'll wear off, he can always reactivate it after a minute or so, but then you'll be drained. At his base, without Monkey King mode, he's a casual building level fighter. Now, to fix that hypothetical speed, well, in the Sage Realm, during a rematch with the fake Monkey King, Mori was able to partially dodge lightning in his base. Lightning moves at about 270,000 miles per hour, although the actual light travels 600. Big numbers. It's on screen, you know, since it's literally light. It's the speed of light. I'm going to guess Mori Jin is able to match his staff in speed since he was partially able to dodge lightning, but not as fast as lightning. So his speed spikes up to 207,559 miles per hour at base. He can use an acupuncture technique I like to call Bongching Na style artery block, which disables his opponent's body parts when hit. He has another acupuncture technique called No Pain, which removes limiter placed on the body because of pain, which allows him to perform stronger attacks up to 5 levels higher, or 41.69% times stronger than his usual max output, if you want to get technical. So, his max painless speed would be 498,104 miles per hour. But only at the risk of destroying his body, since the nature of that technique is a lot similar to Jebungshim limit removal, which doubles his fighting power, stats and durability for a limited time period. In the Sage Realm, or Season 2 if you want to be specific, although the anime only adapted a single season, King Uma, using Pachofan released state, was able to blow away clouds weighing at least 1,400,000,000 pounds with merely shockwaves from one of her attacks. Not to mention that during her clash with Bishop Byron, she vaporized or blew away the Monkey King's entire castle along with the nearby skyscrapers, so basically an entire kingdom. If the cloud feat sounded a bit too insane, like a reach, then here's a verification that this is indeed within King Uma's reach. Miroyo, after using Jebungshim, went into a trance-like state against Priestess Saturn and was able to split about 7 clouds which were miles in the air, and she also split the ground she was standing on in 2. Miro did this by merely swinging her sword while dashing forward, and I'm pretty sure no one would disagree with me that King Uma was vastly stronger than Miroyo around that point. So these somewhat similar feats proves that King Uma was indeed, in fact, what I assume feat-wise. The attack from King Uma's Pacho resulted in all nearby oxygen being blown away in the direction of her attack, and that's while heavily suppressed in order to limit casualties and destruction. So yeah, Mira isn't even comparable at this point. However, her suppression did her a disservice since after stealing one of her horn, Bishop Byron managed to become around Large Kingdom level. Why am I bringing up King Uma and Mirayo's feats in a Mori Jin video? Well, King Uma is relative to Jecheon Daseon Seong or Mori's past. So this is fairly relevant for understanding his battle prowess, since Mori's past self was able to endure being placed in a furnace for 49 days. The hottest furnace is around 3000 degrees Celsius, about half the temperature of the sun's surface. Yet Mori's past was just chilling in there for 49 days straight, only commenting on the fact that the fox bite was the only thing that still hurt him throughout that whole ordeal, proving that the furnace wasn't much of an issue to him. If he can match or reflect a force, such as King Uma's attacks, then his body should be capable of enduring or producing equal forces. I could have gone higher with this scaling here, but Occam's razor states that something shouldn't be multiplied without necessity, since the simplest solution is usually the right one. Plus, Hitchin's razor states that claiming something without substantial evidence will allow it to be disproven without substantial evidence. And I don't want this video to become irrelevant due to an error brought about because of my personal thoughts on how strong they are. Quick side note, after his past broke through the furnace, the heat did seem to hurt his eye, changing its color from blue to red. So that's something. Anyway, Mori Jin gains a ceiling gourd bottle, which can capture any monster or human, but is specifically stated to be unable to touch heaven. King Uma, although lost about half her power after losing her right horn, was actually already severely nerfed since her real body was sealed away, which inside the ceiling gourd bottle was fully functional in increasing her horns to about 4. So let's assume her max power is twice as strong as her base without her true form. True body King Uma then proceeded to bully Bishop Ryan inside the ceiling gourd bottle. She even cancelled the earthquake with a sneeze. So he used a self-destruction technique he believes to be 50 times bigger than a nuclear something. He got one-shotted casually before he could finish, so the exact metrics are unknown. But I asked Google for the output of an average nuclear bomb and just times it by 50 before inserting it into a nuclear blast calculator. But it seems inconsistent with my scaling, so instead of using the low ball, I used the one in the middle to amp things up a bit. So I calculated 800 kilotons of force times 50, then inserted it once more into a nuclear blast calculator to see what would happen. And these are the results. Because King Uma stopped his attack ultra casually without getting even a bit scratched. So it's easy to guess that he isn't even half as strong as she was, even with one of her horn. I don't believe him to be a quarter as strong as she was. Plus, the power scaling community calculated that a character assuming humanoid physiology and is hit in the torso, the assailant should be at least having the attack potency of 7.5 times higher than the opponent's durability in order to one-shot them. So, I'm going to lowball her and say King Uma is Continental. At least, well, she's not using her Pacho fan, even though it'll become clear to not be the case in a while. Her power later got sealed away, returning her to a single horn, but she was still able to one-shot neighborhood-level Angelos without paying attention, and even destroy a city-level Nephilim with a single attack. Check previous video to see how I came to the conclusion of this scaling. But of course King Uma lost to Bishop Sujin Lee, impressing readers and scaring Dawi Han. This scales Sujin Lee to at least small island level. So yeah, scaling King Uma helps us to scale Sujin Lee, who will need to assist us in scaling Mori Jin's next transformation. So that's why I've been scaling her. Sujin Lee was able to easily counter a priestess punch around the speed of sound with a kick which broke their arm, but she got speed blitzed by one of the Prince of Natak, the Flame Prince to be specific. She was also able to handle being jumped by 2 of the Prince of Natak, although barely and only for a minute or so. So it doesn't mean much except for the fact that she could have harmed one of them, although he was taking it seriously. Ilipio Park was also able to harm one of them. In fact, it's the same Fire Prince, but the first Prince was able to blitz in, attempting to deal a country-level range killing blow on Ilipio while he was fighting, and only Buke with King Uma was able to react to save him, although Ilipio could have dodged Sujin Lee's attack. In fact, Beak could even react to sneak attacks from the Ice Prince while he was having a conversation with Sujin Lee with his back turned. Oops, I should get back to power scaling Mori Jin. Anyway, the first Prince of Natak summoned a planet level hammer to one-shot the Sage Realm and everyone there except for his brothers, of course. But Gyeongdong-wang, Mori Jin's signature thundercloud, was able to block it. If I'm to calculate this feat, then Isaac Newton's third law would be my approach, since it states that for every action, there's an equal opposite reaction, which means that for every interaction between two objects, the size of the force on the first object is equal to the force on the second object. This gives his clothes small planet level durability. His Yoi staff is planet level since it destroyed the hammer that was going to one-shot the Sage Realm. Mori Jin then proceeded to wipe out 158,900 Nephilim, reducing their numbers to 318 in a matter of moments by only using Thunderbolt, cloning times 100, and Yoi. Granted, cloning uses a shit ton of energy, but it's actually still impressive since Yoi resisted a parry from a smaller version of his Planet Buster hammer. Not to mention that, due to the fact that the Heavenly Troops dropped lower than 95%, he was on a 10-minute clock to beat the leader of the Prince of Natak before the world exploded. The leader of the Prince, who was stated to have bested King Uma in the past with his Planet Buster hammer. Mori Jin's armor suit was able to casually tank multiple country level attacks from the first Prince of Natak, not to mention that Mori could match him in multiple clashes. The armor suit was also able to protect Mori from what could have been a planet level slash, since the mere shockwaves coming from Mori, who was hit literally almost split the Sage World in two. Eventually, Mori Jin managed to beat the first Prince of Natak with 16 clone Yois due to his hardness and a 3-stage kick. So, going back to Newton's third law, again I'd scale Mori Jin to multi-planet level by these feats alone, not to mention his speed. Back against Taikjigal, Mori used Jibung Ching times 8 and was unable to fully take him down. Taik then absorbed a city level Nephilim and the key plus dozens of neighborhood level Angelos, so he increased in power by that much. So Mori moved from multi-city to multi-island level with the speed of around 500 miles per hour, which firmly established his growth rate, which I estimate with a bit of guesswork, seeing if it would make sense according to the story at that time. So his Monkey King state amplifies his power by 32 times, so his speed should be 6,641,888 miles per hour, which sounds about right since we didn't get much of a time frame of how long it took Mori to beat the first Prince of Natak, although his speed is severely under the speed of light, which is around 6 big numbers hits on screen. Within the span of 5 chapters, the self-destruct mechanism activated, implying that the 10 minutes ran out, so it somewhat technically took him 10 minutes to defeat the first Prince of Natak. Give or take a few minutes because of their pausing in between dialogues. How long he seemed to have taken to beat the first Crown Prince of Natak seemed to contradict his speed scaling from earlier, but his clown was able to travel around the Sage Realm, finding the portal in what seemed to be a minute or so. So I think it's still accurate, although if someone thinks they have better scaling, I'm open to hearing their math and results. As Mori continues to become weaker to the point where creating 3 clones is the best he could pull off, Mori and Sujin Lee continues to engage in battle. Even though they're both completely exhausted, they push forward, battling on a slowly exploding planet, Dragon Ball Z Frieza vs Goku style. And this is where the world famous Sujin Lee supersonic kick appears, that managed to speed blitz Mori's kick of the double blue dragon or kick of the twin dragons. And Mori claims that her attack couldn't be blocked due to the added acceleration from leaping at supersonic speed. This statement is in fact not dubious, even though he was shown to nearly dodge lightning. In fact, I'd propose that he was nearing closer and closer to his limit, as the battle droned on, and that's why he said that, because he thought he was going to lose. Obviously that didn't happen, since instead of trying to dodge normally, he decided to use the force from her attack to help him get out of the way and deliver 2 counterattacks as her kick was about to reach him. This gives him massively faster than Supersonic's reaction speed, since he had to formulate a strategy and perform it with bullet time accuracy as she was throwing the attack. In fact, he even stated that he practically invented an attack specifically in order to counter her attack, which left him unable to properly control his power in order to prevent a possible death. So I'd say it still sounds about right, especially since he did all this while suffering from a deep wound from the first Crown Prince, which was confirmed to be hindering his performance afterwards. So yeah, that's it for now. Who knows, maybe I'll attempt to power scale Ragnarok Mori Jin, otherwise dubbed as Prime Mori Jin or Supreme God Mori Jin, in the future, but who knows, I'll think about it. Or else this video gets about 20 to 30 likes, then I'm actually not sure if I'll be doing it, since I'm pretty exhausted from all the research I've been doing for over a week while rereading the series to verify these feats. So show some love by clicking that thumbs up below and hit that subscribe button along with that notification bell to change the option to all so you won't miss the next video. And for more content like this, comment what you'd like me to do a video on next, and I'll take your suggestions, but don't go spamming me with numerous and impossible to fulfill requests, because this is an anime and meme primarily focused channel. So if you want to ask me to do a video on something like that, then maybe I'll do it. I'll also do videos on video games, novels, comics, and mangas, and even reviews on other YouTubers, if you're lucky. Top 10s, theories, and pretty much whatever you guys enjoy. Have a great day or night, whatever time you guys happen to be watching this, and peace out. See you in the next one. Awesome weebs. Also, here's my socials, you can follow me there if you want to chat.